On June 2nd, the Trump administration gave the AI firm Anthropic a direct order: block non-Americans from accessing Fable and Mythos, their most advanced frontier AI models. The administration was responding to a critical safety flaw. Anthropic's models had a default jailbreak state, a command prompt that bypassed safeguards. Overnight, it became apparent that a single government possessed the authority to decide who can and cannot use the world's most important technology. This event marks a shift in how global power is measured. For allied nations, it highlights a growing dependency on Washington, where access to the tools of the future is tied directly to decisions made in the Oval Office. America has a long history of hoarding transformative technology. After World War II, the U.S. abruptly halted nuclear cooperation with the U.K. In the 1970s, it aggressively restricted cryptography exports to maintain a strategic advantage over foreign intelligence. You see the same logic in modern defense exports. The U.S. keeps its most elite hardware, like the F-22 stealth fighter, exclusively for itself. Allied nations are permitted to purchase the F-35, a capable but intentionally less advanced alternative. Frontier AI is following this tiered access model. The absolute best models will likely be locked down for U.S. military and cyber operations, while the rest of the world is sold restricted versions that have been stripped of their most potent capabilities. If a rival is operating a more capable AI than the version you are allowed to buy, your defenses are inherently compromised. Relying on American-supplied tech ensures a structural second-place disadvantage in global competition. Some nations may try to bypass these restrictions by focusing on open-weight models, AI algorithms that are publicly available to download and run locally. But the algorithm is only half the battle. To run advanced AI, you need a massive physical compute ecosystem, the specialized chips and infrastructure required to process billions of operations every second. This chart shows the scale of the infrastructure gap. Currently, the United States possesses roughly 15 times more compute power than the entire European continent. Advanced AI requires continuous, massive capital investments. Right now, only the American tech ecosystem is sustaining the level of spending needed to keep this hardware up to date. Without independent, sovereign compute infrastructure, a free algorithm is effectively useless. Nations lacking their own hardware will remain tethered to the American technological ecosystem to stay functional. This imbalance points toward a future where foreign economies and cyber defense grids become entirely dependent on American compute power. Without their own infrastructure, these nations risk becoming digital vassals. However, the U.S. has its own vulnerabilities. Its AI supremacy relies on hardware monopolies controlled by others, specifically Dutch lithography machines and Taiwanese fabrication plants like TSMC. American private interests are already moving to bypass these terrestrial limits. Initiatives like SpaceX's vision for orbital data centers would further insulate the American tech sector, making the current infrastructure gap significantly more difficult for other nations to bridge. Surviving this hierarchy requires nations to move past geopolitical complaints and start building their own physical power. The primary bottleneck for AI development isn't just the code, it's the power grid. In the UK, demand for new grid connections is projected to surge from 41 gigawatts to 125 gigawatts by 2025, exceeding the nation's highest ever recorded power demand. Major labs have already pulled out of European projects because the bureaucracy and energy costs are too high. In April, OpenAI halted a data center project in the UK for these exact reasons. To maintain autonomy, governments must deregulate infrastructure planning, expand energy generation, and form regional alliances. Instead of competing with one another, neighbors like Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea could combine their resources into a single tech ecosystem. National sovereignty in the AI era rests on physical foundations. True autonomy will belong to the nations that build the power grids and data centers necessary to sustain their own technological development.